Hi everybody, Sarah here, and I just wanted to share some thoughts about Tron Ares. I got to go see it yesterday afternoon, and overall I really enjoyed it. It's a good movie. It's not a great movie. I think it fits in pretty well with the Tron universe. The look and feel of it is very similar to Tron Legacy in a lot of ways, just visually very beautiful. Everything is very, crystal and clear, and the visual effects all look really, really good. The costumes look good. The props look good. The light cycles and the other machines and things that are in it all look really well made. I like how everything has red out, it's black with the red outlines, which is very much like Master Control with the red light and all of that. So there's a lot of red and orange light in this show. But overall, I liked the movie. I would say, if you're a fan of Tron, go see it. I think you'll enjoy it. The action is good. The special effects, there's a lot of, there's a lot of good chase scenes where we get kind of light cycles in real life with the light walls and everything. It all looks really good. There's a cool scene of, a police car getting cut in half by one of these. It all looks really good. I think the story is pretty basic though. It's just these two corporations competing to try and get the big market share. You've got Dillinger Corporation, which is now run by Julian Dillinger, who is the grandson of the Dillinger from the first Tron movie. And of course, we have Encom, which no longer is run by a Flynn. It is now run by the sisters, Eve and Tess. And both of these companies have figured out how to 3D print things from the grid into reality. But the only problem is they only last 29 minutes and then the things turn to dust. Whereas Dillinger's focus, which we see at the beginning of the movie, Dillinger's focus is using it for military applications. 3D printing soldiers. We have Ares, the god of war, is sort of the spokesperson he has for the grid from from the Dillinger grid, basically. And he also has Athena who works with him, and they're able to 3D print basically soldiers, equipment, tanks, things like this. Whereas on the other side, Encom wants to use the technology for humanitarian purposes, to produce medicines, to produce food, to produce advanced technology from the grid into reality. So they both have very different things that they're trying to get to. And Dillinger really wants to use the military applications to basically kind of save the company. The company's kind of betting on becoming very profitable by getting these military contracts, etc. Whereas Encom seems more concerned with humanitarian stuff over profit. But in order to make this work, of course, they have to have a thing called the permanence code. And they know somewhere in Flynn's files is the permanence code. So we see that Tess, one of the sisters now running Encom, was really digging through all of Flynn's things to find this code. But unfortunately, she gets cancer and passes away. Her sister Eve kind of picks up the mantle, digs through all these old disk drives and things from the 80s. They find the permanence code. Of course, there's a lot of good action scenes ensue as Dillinger sends Ares and Athena after her to get this code because he wants the permanence code. He doesn't want Encom to have the permanence code. Basically, to save his corporation and become very wealthy, he needs this code, and he's not afraid to use kind of sort of unscrupulous methods to get it. Anyway, he sends Ares after Eve to find Eve to get this code. And during that time, Ares really digs into Eve's life. He sees her childhood, he sees her friends, he sees her books, he sees how she spoke about how good could be done with this kind of technology. All the humanitarian things. And it kind of opens Ares' eyes to well, I don't have to necessarily be a warrior. This technology, what I'm doing, could be used for all of these good things in the world. And so he begins to question, I think, what Julian is telling him to do, whereas before he was just following it without question. So anyway, they track down Eve. They end up scanning her into the grid. They would have to kill her to get the information out of her head. Ares is not cool with that. He cuts a deal with Eve. They escape back into reality. Eve has to find the permanence code to make Ares permanent. And she also wants to find the permanence code for the humanitarian reasons. So Dillinger then assigns Athena to capture them, to get the permanence code, do all of that. There's a lot of good action and stuff around them chasing each other around, Athena trying to go after them. The first time Athena goes after them, her 29 minutes runs out before she's actually able to get the code or scan Eve back into the system so they can do this brain scan on her that will kill her, but they'll have the information. Anyway, they get Eve and Ares go to NCOM where they scan Ares into an old 80s computer that was Flynn's, so that he can dig around in the files in that grid to find the permanence code. Meanwhile, on the outside, Eve and her friends are trying to fix basically the machine that allows them to, scan things in and out of the grid, for things to transfer in and out of the grid. The machine, Athena broke it in her first attempt to try and capture Eve. So she brings in some hacker friends, and they decide, like, Eve's gonna go out there, draw Athena's attention away from them to her, so they can have time to hack into Dillinger's system and basically take down the system, because the only way to stop Athena is going to be to take down Dillinger's grid. So while her friends are doing that, she's being chased down by Athena. And meanwhile, while Ares is in Flynn's grid, he talks to Flynn. He realizes that he wants to do good in the world. Flynn gives him the permanence code. Ares gets scanned back into gets printed back into reality as a permanent being. Tom now has the code. He's now a permanent being. He goes and basically does the final showdown with Athena, and they end up taking down Dillinger's system, and Ares is now a free person in the real world. He's traveling on a motorcycle. He's sending postcards to Eve saying that, he's enjoying kind of exploring the world and discovering himself and da 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 da. And Dillinger, on the other hand, has caused a lot of havoc and destruction in the real world with what he's done. So the police are now coming to get him. Dillinger scans himself into what's left of the Dillinger grid. He sees like a data disk. He grabs it, and you see the outline of the outfit like his grandfather wore, like in the first movie, the digital version of his grandfather in the original movie. You kind of see an outline of that outfit. So I thought, oh, that was kind of cool. It leaves the door open for maybe doing some more of these. But we see, it's basically kind of your basic good versus evil. Big bad corporation wants to use this for military purposes. Other corporation wants to use this to do good in the world. Of course, the good wins, and we see at the end of the movie the NCOM does take the technology and do all the humanitarian things that they want to do with it. And so I think, overall it's a pretty basic message, but it's your typical tube corporation. One is greedy for the wrong reasons. One, maybe you could say they're greedy, but they're trying to do the right thing. And the other corporation just wants, to get military contracts. Anyway, overall, I really liked the movie. I think it's a good story. It sticks with the themes that run through the previous two movies. I'm curious to see if they'll make another movie, because they definitely left the door open for another one if that was to happen. So I'm curious to see, and I'll see if they make another one. I'm curious to see what they do with it and what story they try to tell. Anyway, I'm hoping to do some more of these movie thoughts videos as other movies come out. So hopefully soon, as these movies come out, like Predator Badlands and The Running Man, I'll do some of these videos on those movies too once those come out and I get a chance to see them. But until then, I will see you around.